Alright, this is the review for Once Upon a Time, Season 2, Episode 6, episode titled Tallahassee. The backstories in this episode is Emma Swan, Neil Cassidy, and August Boot. Alright, so we starting off in Fairy Tale Land with Emma, Captain Hook, Mulan, Mary Margaret, and Aurora arriving at the Beanstalk, which is the entrance to the realm of the giants. If you don't know where the Beanstalk storyline is coming from, it's Jack and the Beanstalk people. Hopefully, you should know that already. I should not have to tell you. Anyway, Hook told the others that this beanstalk and the giant are the last of their kind, he reveals to the four women that he possesses a counter spell from Korra that was originally intended to allow him and Korra to climb the beanstalk. Now that he has chosen to align himself with Emma and company, he can't take one of them up the beanstalk with him to get the compass. Aurora volunteers because she has no one left in the world. Mulan volunteers because she's the best warrior in the group. Make a man out of you. Sorry. And Mary Margaret wants to go with her daughter. I mean, cause one, Emma is new to this world and she doesn't want to have anything happen to her baby. You know, she in mama mode, guardian mama mode. Anyway, but Emma overrules them, stating that she must do this for Henry. So after Mary Margaret cuts Hook free from his bond, she slaps a black cuff on Emma that glows gold briefly and allows her to climb the beanstalk. Before she begins to climb, Emma takes Mulan aside and tells her that if she and Hook are not back in 10 hours, that she will cut down the beanstalk with her sword. Mulan agrees and then gives Emma a concoction of ground poppy dust in order to put the giant to sleep. Emma and Hook begin their climb. Then we go to a nice little 11 years before Emma ever knew of Storybrooke, where we see Emma walking down, uh, um, walking towards a similarly empty yellow bug in an alley in Portland, Oregon. She checks around to make sure no one's watching her, then uses the tool she has hidden in her bag and sleeve to break into the car. She's able to start it with a screwdriver and is very pleased with herself until the man pops up behind her, startling her. He tells her that he tells her to keep driving and reveals that his name is Neil Cassidy. Now, this guy is the guy from the first episode that we see, who's getting this postcard that, the person third but the broken, that's who this is. I still think he is Rumpelstiltskin's son. I mean, this might be his, his name here in this world, but, it's still enough to know. But I don't know. Anyway. Emma reluctantly tells him her name before she runs a stop sign, causing a cop to pull over them. Neil is able to come up with a cover story that he was teaching Emma to drive stick shift. The cop buys it and lets him leave. That's a very terrible cop, really. I mean, he ain't even try to check the license plate or nothing. Really, no license. Wow. Usually, mostly, usually you tell people, you know, but I'm not sure if that's really a reason to pull out your license and stuff for a stop sign. But still, but still, I'm just saying. Mm. Neil then moves to the front seat with a sigh and reveals to Emma that the car she is driving is not even his, and he was trying to steal it himself. Wow, really, dude, really, really, really. Anyway, back upon the beanstalk, we have Emma and Hook making good progress while climbing stalk. Hook then asks Emma about her past, to which Emma is reluctant to reply, and Hook then tells her that she has a son, to which Emma replies that is common knowledge. He then also says that Emma herself was an orphan and she does not want to leave Harry in that situation. Emma asks how could he possibly know that, and Hook states that while in Neverland, he spent time in the company of a group of orphans known as the Lost Boys. Really, Hook? Really? You spent time with them? You sure you wasn't trying to use them to get to Peter Pan? Because apparently that's your whole motive. But anyway, that's a story for another time. So he can easily recognize another orphan. He then asks if Emma has ever been in love, and she replies never. Back to her past, Emma and Neil are shown in what appears to be a convenience store. Emma is faking being pregnant, and Neil is asking the shop owner how to get to a certain place. The shop owner retorts that if Neil buys a map, he will show him how to use it. Really, dang, people just trying to ask you for some simple directions. You all rude about it, like for real. Anyway, Neil buys the map while Emma continues to swipe stuff from the shelves of the store. As the shop owner is showing Neil which way to go, Neil slips some candy bars into his pocket just as the customer walks in. The customer tries to call out Neil and Emma, but Emma fakes going into labor, allowing Neil and Emma to get away with the robbery. After jumping into the car and kissing, they make their way to a motel where they enter an open room after a family leaves. Really? Then there's still somebody else's room. Really? Anyway. Emma discovers a dream catcher they left behind, saying that it was a way to prevent nightmares. As she and Neil settle in, Neil suggests that the two of them leave their lives of crime behind and settle down somewhere. Emma asks where, to which Neil takes a map of the United States of the wall, off the wall, and tells Emma that wherever she points, that is where they will be settling down. Emma closes her eyes and picks Tallahassee, to which Neil replies that Tallahassee is where they will start their new lives. Back in present day fairy tale world, on the ground, Mulan is drawing a line in the sand, intersecting with other lines. She explains to Aurora and Mary Margaret that this line is to keep time of watch for each of them. Oh, that's cool. Mary Margaret volunteers to take the first watch, and Mulan goes to sleep. Aurora remains behind, though, and confides in Mary Margaret she is too scared to sleep, as she has been experiencing intense nightmares since being awoke from the sleeping curse. Mary Margaret comforts her, stating that she has the same experience and that in order to make her feel better, Charming will light a candle to help her sleep and soothe her back to sleep. So she tells Aurora to rest, and she will be watching over her. Back above the beanstalk, they finally reach the top. Him and Ook asks why the place is so run down, and Ook asks her what she knows of giant. What she knows of giant. She tells him that she knows the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, and after hearing her brief synopsis, Hook states that while it's a good tale, it's not quite how it happened. He reveals that there was a man named Jack who led an invasion of the giant's realm, killing everyone but one giant. Emma then asks him about the tattoo on his arm for Mila, and Hook mentions that is in memory of someone he knew long ago. Emma states that he loved Mila, and Hook states that he did, and for Emma, as a woman claiming not to have fallen in love, she is perceptive in love. Emma acknowledges that she may have been in love once. Back in her past life, back in past Emma, we dealing with her in a park in Portland. She's waiting for Neil behind a tree with lunch. Neil, however, is a bit flustered and shows Emma an arrest warrant for grand larceny with his name on it. He explains to Emma that this is a result of him stealing some watches a long time ago, and that the watches are stored in a locker in the bus station in Portland. He despairs of how he will get out of this, but Emma thinks of a plan, saying she will steal the watches herself so that no one will be looking for Neil. Neil protests, saying that he has to go to Canada so he won't get caught, and he couldn't bear the thought of Emma being put in jail. Emma silences him by telling Neil that she loves him and she kisses him. Emma then, when I was back in present day fairy tale world, Emma then climbs up one of the statues outside the open door to the home of the giant, clutching Mulan's sleeping potion. Hook then takes a human bone and uses it to pound on a massive metal shield to summon the giant from his lair. The giant then comes storming out and sees Hook. Hook then leads the giant around towards Emma by taunting him. The giant follows him, and then Emma throws the potion in the giant's face, knocking him unconscious. At first, Emma believes Hook to be smushed, but Hook shows up and congratulates her on knocking the giant out cold before proceeding inside. On the ground, Aurora wakes up screaming from a nightmare, and a concerned Mary Margaret rushes to her side while Mulan looks on. Aurora tells Mary Margaret about her nightmare, stating that she was in a room that had no windows or no doors and was covered in blood-red curtains. A fire was in the room as well, and through the fire she could see a male figure on the other side of the room watching her. Mary Margaret calms her down and states that it was just a dream and to go back to sleep. Aurora reluctantly does this, and she lays her head in Mary Margaret's lap. Mary Margaret states that she will watch over her, as she has no one else to watch over her in a moment. Back at the home of the giant, Hook and Emma wander through the place looking for the magical compass, while Hook seems to have his eye more on the treasure around him. I mean, come on, he's a pirate. Gold. Pirate. Come on, put two and two together. Come on, people. Shoot, I would have tried to gun me some gold. Like, hey, I need to pay for college. Is it just for finance purposes? I got some money troubles. Put it up in my pocket. Shoot, who wouldn't do that? Talking about a person being tempted by gold or sitting there. Come on now. Anyway, Emma tells him to pay attention, that she needs a compass. Hook tucks a golden coin in his belt and then walk past Emma, saying that all they need is right in front of them. Back in Portland, Emma goes to the locker that Neil told her about, and she takes it easily. Mind you, the cops is like to her sides, I think to her left, and she's like all nervous and stuff, like hoo, hoo, hoo. Back to the giant's lair. Emma and Hook stumble across the skeleton of Jack the Giant Killer. You know, the one from the story. All that remains is his bones and a few tattered bits of clothing and a large sword with Jack's name inscribed on it. As Hook prepares to further his search, Emma grabs a hold of him and saves him from tripping over a tripwire. Hook takes this as a sign of affection from Emma, which she refuses immediately, but then the two resume their search for compass. Back in Portland, Emma and Neil are so excited about celebrating their victory. Neil states that he is going to go and pawn the watches to get the money. So while he's going to go and pawn the watches, he is then stopped by August Booth, who we know is Pinocchio. And he informs Neil about the whole situation about Emma and the whole fairy tale thing. And so he shows them this box shows them something inside this box to get her to get him to believe. And so he tells him that he's gonna have to let her go. So then we have Emma waiting for Neil wearing the watch. She's constantly checking it. And so then the cop shows up and points a gun at her and tells her that Neil has betrayed her and called in a tip on her. And he asks for the other stolen watches, but Emma states that she does not have them, and so she is cut away and she's led away in disbelief, like, oh my god, I can't believe he did this to me. And so back in the giant lair, Emma believes that the compass is on top of the golden. She sees the compass on top of the golden bird cage, and she asks Hooks to give her a boost, to which he retorts that he should be the one boosted. He asks Emma to trust him. Emma remains silent for a moment before they hear the sound of a giant pounding up behind him, roaring in fury. He storms towards them, and his movements loosen the stones from the ceiling and seemingly crush Hook beneath him. A few months later, after the events in Oregon, August meets Neil on the outskirts of Vancouver, and he asks August how Emma is. August tells him that she is sentenced to 11 months in minimum security prison, and Neil becomes distraught and he wants to know more, but August reminds him of the deal they made months earlier. Neil then tells August to keep the bug and stack the keys he needs to give the keys and stacks of money, saying that he will rest better if he knows Emma is cared for. August recruiting agrees to his request. Back to the beanstalk, we have the giant lunging toward Emma and grabs her in his hand, proceeds to squeeze the life out of her. Emma pleads with him that she needs a compass to get her son back, but the giant does not heed her. Almost out of breath, Emma bites the giant hand, causing him to drop. She catches her breath, grabs Jack's sword, and she cuts the rope holding a large iron trap and falls on the giant, seemingly trapping him. Menacing him with the poison sword, she demands a compass. The giant reluctantly gives it to her, saying that she is going to kill him anyway and that all humans are alike. Emma says that we're all not alike, and then the giant breaks out of the trap and runs towards Emma, but then grabs her again and reveals a secret exit from his lair, saying that he owes Emma a favor for not killing him. Emma then states that the giant actually owes her 2 favors since she could have killed the one unconscious. The giant agrees. Emma then goes to Hook, pulls him out of the rocks, and shows him the magical compass. He reaches for it, but Emma tucks it away in her coat pocket and puts a manacle on Hook, stating that she cannot trust him fully. And he leaves her there. No, she leaves him there. Back on the ground, Mulan's about to cut down a tree because it's been 10 hours since Emma and them come to talk. Mary Mark's like, no, you're not gonna cut this beanstalk down until my child is back on this ground. So Snow White is trying to tackle this girl, like, you're not gonna leave my child under. So Emma finally comes down, and Mary Mark is like, oh, and then she's all in mama mode, and she hugs her and stuff. And tells her, why did you tell Mulan to cut down the beanstalk? Her nerves is just bad. So back in the Phoenix jail, we have Emma sitting in her little thing. And prison guard, shows her mail. She has to open the mail for her because the prisoner's not allowed to open their own mail. Anyway, so then there's a key to the bug that we know Emma now drives, because we always see in the yellow buggy. And the prisoner, I don't know if the prison guard was trying to be funny, but it's not. And she says that, hey, when you get out of jail, you now have a car, and to that you have a baby, because now we know she's pregnant because she's holding a positive pregnancy test in her hand. Back in Storybrooke, we have Henry waking up, and David comes running, and so David, turns on light, and Henry tells him about the dream he had, which is the same one that Princess Aurora had in Fairy Tale Land, except that he sees a female figure looking back at him and not a male one. And David says that it was just a bad dream. So pretty much that's the synopsis for this episode, Tallahassee. We know why it's called Tallahassee. We got more into Emma's backstory, and we're trying to figure out what this dream is that Henry and both Princess Sleeping Beauty had. And obviously, much to my disappointment, Neil Cassidy might not be bail fired. So upsetting. But anyway, that was a good episode. The next one is going to deal more with Ruby, who's also aka Red Riding Hood, and the whole thing with the wolf. Since the curse is now broken, will she turn into a wolf on the first full moon? Dun, 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 dun. Anyway, see you next Sunday. I know this wasn't really posted on Sunday, but still, next Sunday, deuces.